What a marvelous age we live in.
Heartbeat, fire in the middle. Heartbeat, warm as griddle. Heartbeat, sizzling through. Oh, what will I do? Whack, chili, bop, bop, bop. Heartbeat, stinging like a busy bee. Trot beat, smoke like a chimney. Hot heat, burning terribly, nearly makes a furnace out of me. Heartbeat, and I wanna beat hot, 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 hot. White heat, that's the way they have got. Heartbeat, Charleston's dune him. Shot feet, black bottom ruined him. Heartbeat, hear him yell. Oh, what's so hot heat?
I wonder what we're doing in class today. I don't know, it's probably something boring.
No, I think it's something really fun.
Hello, class. Today we'll be learning about the 1920s. Does anybody know anything about the 1920s?
It was probably just like today, but more boring.
No, the 1920s was an amazing time period full of turning points. Before the 1920s, women had no rights and had only a future in housewives. Girls, can you imagine having a future already planned out for you? Hey, can we join in?
No, you're girls. You know how to play.
When World War I started, all the men were shipped out, and it was up to the women to take charge. Women gained more respect by working in the factories. Some women went on strikes and riots outside the factories and held signs demanding rights. They got their voting rights on August 18, 1920, when the 19th Amendment was passed. This made women equal to men. Woo! Go girls!
Yeah, that's really intense stuff. I can't imagine my life without these rights.
What other interesting things happened in the 1920s? That's a great question. Once women got more rights in the 20s, they began to live more freely. Flappers introduced a whole new lifestyle for women.
Flappers in the 1920s were usually teenagers between the ages of 16 and 19. The term flapper was used to describe the dresses these young girls wore, which often made a flapping sound when they walked. The image of a flapper was usually one of rebellion. Every piece of clothing was short and lighter to make moving and dancing easier. Women also changed their look to make them look more like men. They cut their hair to make it a bob and usually tied something around their chest to make them look flatter. Flappers were fast-living and had sexual behavior. They took risks and were reckless. They smoked, flirted with other women's husbands, and drank alcohol. This was surprising to most because alcohol was illegal and women were thought of to be proper. They danced the Charleston, black bottom, and shinny.
What about the guys? Didn't we do anything interesting?
Well, class, women weren't the only people having fun in the 20s. Men did interesting things too.
Oh, I know this!
any activities that became popular among a large population. Flagpole sitting was a very popular spectator sport that began when Alvin Shipwreck Kelly was dared to do it in 1924. Men and women also competed in dance marathons, which often could last for several hours and sometimes weeks. Toward the end of the 1920s, peppermint-flavored Pez was introduced and soon became a favorite among everyone.
Good job. Fads were a really important role in the 20s. Music also played a huge role.
Music, that's my area of expertise. There were artists like Drake and Wiz Khalifa.
No, most of the famous singers came from the Jazz Age and Harlem Renaissance. Ella Fitzgerald, Louis Armstrong. Here, listen to this.
Yeah, I kind of like this music.
Yes, jazz music was very popular during this era.
What other music was there?
Music from the 1920s included artists like Duke Ellington, Ella Fitzgerald, and Irving Berlin. Jazz music became the most popular kind of music, and most of these famous singers and musicians came from the Harlem Renaissance. During this time, African Americans took home in cities such as New Orleans to spread their cultural movements. Popular dances, songs, and musical styles took hold and spread to the rest of America.
Was everything always this great?
No, actually it wasn't always as great. Class, as people got more freedom, they tended to do whatever they wanted, even though it meant breaking the law. Alcohol was illegal, but most still drank it by smuggling it and buying it from the black market.
Due to the 18th Amendment, alcohol was banned from the U.S. Although it was banned, the production and sale of liquor increased. There was smuggling of liquor known as bootlegging, and speakeasies or illegal drinking spots that became popular. The 21st Amendment was later passed, ratifying prohibition, making alcohol legal.
That still wasn't the worst thing that happened in the 1920s.
What happened?
On October 29, 1929, the stock market crashed and America fell into the Great Depression.
On Black Tuesday, America's stock market crashed. Millions of people were left homeless, without a job, and had no money. Banks closed, leaving no way for Americans to get back their lost money.
What was going on in the rest of the world while America was in the roaring 20s?
Well, class, after World War I, while U.S. was in a time of prosperity and economic improvement, Europe was left in a mess. They fell into the Great Depression.
While America was in the Great Depression, Europe was also struggling. Europe was still recovering from World War I and the war damage. The most affected country of the First World War was Germany. Germany lost territory and had to pay war reparations. As a result, inflation was high and Germany began printing so much money it became useless.
What is das Essen?
However, the most affected countries from the American Great Depression were Poland, Austria, and again Germany. Many were found homeless, jobless, and many rich households and banks were on the brink of collapse. Unemployment rates skyrocketed and trade was nearly stopped in 1929. The Depression came to a close as a result of preparation for World War II, almost 12 years after the Depression first started.
I never knew all that happened in the 1920s.
Yeah, I thought the 1920s was the time period of random things. I didn't know women got their rights.
I didn't know that good music came from the 1920s. I really like Louis Armstrong's music.
I found it really interesting learning about the Great Depression. I felt bad for the children and families who lost everything due to the war.
Yeah, I'm kind of glad that I wasn't there during that time.
I wonder what we're doing in class tomorrow.
Legs in my head.